It's the end of November. Ski Talk. We're here live with you. And I'm Dan Egan in the new world headquarters here at the new Ski Talk East Coast studio. What do you think? I got everything going on here in the studio today, including the totem behind me. I love that totem, and we're going to promote that all throughout the winter. He goes everywhere with me. Some people say he looks like my brother. I don't know. What do you think? Hey, I'm fired up about Ski Talk tonight because to me, this is like we're in the ski lodge. We're just yapping about skiing, and it's so much fun because it's winter. That's right. It's winter, and I'm fired up. There's new chairlifts all across the country. They're everywhere. Waterville Valley's got a new six-pack going in, and they hope to start it up this weekend. Fingers crossed that thing fires up. People are going to be excited. The new six-pack at Waterville Valley. Also, Sundance, Utah, they have a new lift. And all across the Midwest, I think there were a total of more than 5 to 6 lifts added in the Midwest. So new lifts, lots of snow out there. And talking about snow, we got a snow report for you. It's dumping in Whistler, hammering. That could be the place here, first week of December, to drop in. Also, Beaver Creek, lots of new snow. They've got the downhill coming this coming weekend. This in just a few days, the Men FIS World Cup is in Beaver Creek, Birds of Prey, and it's dumping snow there. So we're going to go live to Colorado in just a bit here in the show and get an update on all the snow. Now, I love this snow report from Bolton Valley. Give this snow reporter a raise because they're saying at Bolton Valley they've had more than 16 inches in the last 10 days. In Vermont, we're at 60 degrees up. I don't know, but give him a raise, hire that guy. It's a magical report, and it's got to be true. Me, I'm heading to Switzerland tomorrow when there's a little bit of snow going to be falling in Zermatt around the Matterhorn, and that's just fine with me. Hey, of course, we had Killington World Cup. The ladies were in town. That's a massive event. There were huge crowds, over 20,000 people on Saturday, and over another 20,000 people on Sunday, breaking all sorts of records for the Killington World Cup. That's just great for the East, great for ski racing. And one of my favorite places to watch a ski race is Killington there on Superstar. If you were there, you had a treat. You know, you can see 3/4 of the run. It's unbelievable viewing. And of course, everybody going crazy for Michaela. Unfortunately, with the current snow conditions, they really rushed that race to get it ready, and the snow just did not hold up with the warm temps and didn't play well for Michaela. Off the podium, and the first time she hasn't won the slalom in 5 years. See what a run she's had, and unbelievable talent. I have to just stop here for a little bit and just pick up on this quote that she gave at the end of the race. Can somebody out there help me make sense of this? She says, I'm quoting Michaela Schifrin, "If anything, I didn't expect to win today." Never understand why athletes have that thought. As she continues, Schifrin confessed, "I just felt like the world, the universe doesn't work in ways that I would win my 50th slalom race in Killington and take 6 in a row. If something like that happens, something really bad is going to happen." Excuse me? And she continues, "I know that may not be the greatest mentality to have, but I fought hard in the second run." I'm not sure what she's trying to say there, except for if I had to guess, she would have loved to win her 50th slalom at Killington. It's her home event. If she went to Burke Mountain, the place would have gone berserk. And of course, everybody, including herself, wanted her to win 6 in a row. We've never seen a ski racer like Michaela Schifrin come across the planet. She's the top, the best there is. And she's not going to Lake Louise to run in the speed events. There's been a change in the technical events this year. So she says she's off to Europe to train. I think she's off to Beaver Creek to root on the boyfriend. But I digress. Who knows? Let's pick it up with the men's ski team. Exactly. What is going on with the U.S. men's ski team? First of all, we have no technical skiers in the GS and the slalom. That's a big hole. And we did manage, of course, Ryan Corcoran did crack the top 15 in the Super G in Lake Louise, as did Travis Ganong. Good finish. nowhere to be found in the downhill. We didn't even place anybody in the top 20. Look, the status of the U.S. ski team, you have to be concerned, because without Michaela Schifrin, we just don't have anybody else really getting after it. We've got to be asking ourselves, where's the next talent coming from? Because it's not really there in the men and the women. It's all Michaela Schifrin all the time, and we're going to need somebody else to root for eventually. But I digress. It's snowing. The men are in Beaver Creek, Birds of Prey, always good for the Americans. Let's see if we can get back on our winning ways and get some of those boys onto the podium. I'm all for it. Now, for a little shameless self-promotion, it's the holidays. Have you bought my books yet? Come on, get after it. My newest book, All Terrain Skiing, 31 Drills and Skills. It has an app that you can download. Just not yet. We're having some technical difficulties. Hang in there with me. Of course, you can always go to YouTube and get the entire playlist of all 31 drills. 30 Years in a White Haze, always good, still hot, on Amazon, or get a hold of me direct. And of course, Ski A to Z, a wonderful book by Kimberly, a complete illustration of all your terms from A to Z, complete glossary of ski terms. So get out there, get those books, and there's a skier in your household looking for those books right now. Now, I don't know about you. This time of year, I feel the soul of skiing. I do. And I grew up skiing at a small ski area here in the East, and I still love skiing here in the East. And this is what it's all about. So I thought I would just take a little time and celebrate really the soul of skiing. And what better movie to launch off the show with in The Pursuit of Soul by TGR. Let's roll.
The ski industry should never be taken for granted. The resorts are fragile.
I started skiing in 1969, and at that time, there were more than 1,000 ski areas in America, and now there must be less than 400.
A lot of these smaller resorts have disappeared over the last 20 years or so, and these big collectives have come around and corporations.
I think the large mountains are just pricing skiing right out of a lot of people's realm. I don't want to see our sport become elitist. It should be for anybody who wants to be on skis.
Skiing is a very personal experience. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. Yeah! It's kind of like dancing. You don't have to be good to enjoy dancing. You just kind of get with the rhythm. In this case, the rhythm of the mountain, the rhythm of the snow.
At smaller resorts, everyone can get in. It's just hard not to feel the soul of skiing here.
We're important because we want to stay local. We want to stay in the community. Joy. And I think it brings us back to where everything started in skiing.
These are the things that drive us to understand that this is more than a mountain. It's a family.
Well said. Of course, that movie came out last year, and for me, it just hits on all the generational ties of the sport. Somebody taught me, we teach others, and it's a family-long tradition. Every time I show the Warren Miller film, I see families, I see fathers and sons and mothers and daughters, grandparents, all united around skiing. It's the best. Here's a little plug for, of course, Ski History. This is a great magazine. And if you're not supporting Ski History, please do. This right here, right now, this magazine, I think, is the best one in print going around out there right now. It's got amazing articles and really good insight with a lot of history and a lot of perspective. With that all said, this is SkiTalk, and we couldn't have SkiTalk without Phil and Trish, the owners and the co-founders of SkiTalk. What's going on? How are you guys?
Wow, Dan, you covered a lot of territory in a very short amount of time, and I've got a lot to process. So first we talked about the race. Well, we talked about lifts opening, and Phil and I were at Mount Rose this week when they opened the Lakeview Express, the new lift. It's a first high speed they've had at Mount Rose. And it goes up a little bit higher than the old Lakeview, and it's going to give us some actual legit views of Lake Tahoe. and open up a little bit of terrain in the old phone booth area behind Wildcard, which will be really fun. So that's exciting for us, and was a fun opportunity. And then you talked about the races, and we had a couple people. We had Aaron and Rudy were on the ground at Killington covering the Women's World Cup this past week, and they have a really in-depth article on our site if anybody wants to touch base with that and talk to people that were on the ground and taking care of that. So that's all exciting. And you talked about what's interesting right now in skiing, and we see a few young girls coming up through the ranks that are being mentored a little bit by Michaela and whatnot. But for a long time, the women have been way more fun to watch on the World Cup than the men. What is up with that?
Well, it's a good question. And of course, when the men race, you see the power, you see the strength, and you just see some unbelievable performances. And of course, Beaver Creek, this coming weekend, it will be packed. It won't have the same crowd, of course, that Killington had, but they'll be going bonkers up there. You'll have Uncle E, you'll have Doug Lewis, everybody on the sticks, firing the crowd up. And it's just phenomenal skiing. But I think really when it comes right down to it, Killington and other women races, the women are just friendlier. And I think they're mixed better. They're really embracing the kids. The one most amazing thing at Killington is the parade of ski clubs. And they do it every year. And every ski club that wants to participate from around New England shows up and they parade. And, it's just such a powerful thing. And you're right. These ladies are really lighting it up and showing the way. There's no doubt about it. Phil, when you see it on the, the sort of the ski side, what do we get for skis which brands are slaying it on the World Cup? And is that translating to what we see in the shops and on other people's feet?
It is. Again, as far as the racers, we're seeing Rossi and Dina Star and a mix coming from that company. And you see Rossi skiers with Lang boots, Dina Star skis with Rossi boots, and that I never really understood why. As far as that mix, Head is still killing it. They're at the top of their game. So, and Atomic also with Michaela. We've seen a lot now with Marcel retiring and the changes that Michaela and Marcel pushed to get their new icon binding, which really is something that is stepping their skis up a little bit. Their new race binding, and we've had a lot of discussion on our site about that. Fisher's in a little bit in the lurks right now as far as people, skiers on them, or we're seeing more on the women's side coming from Fisher. Blizzard and Nordica, nowhere to be found. A couple of races there, and Vocal right now is kind of in a flux right now with their racers. What I see, a change that we're going to see probably coming up is Kesley is coming into the fray. They're bringing a lot of younger racers. They're going a lot at these B and C tier racers and having them come up. You've got an owner of the company that is not afraid to spend money and to throw money out at the sport, and that's always fun to see that wild card brought into it. And of course, you have Marcel Hirscher with Van Deer Red Bull. A ton of discussion with Christofferson at the last men's race, with them having to cover the logo on the ski, which actually kind of backfired for FIS because there was more discussion talking about this, not knowing what the ski is and not knowing what the label is, than there was if he was just racing. But there's a lot of money there also behind that. You've got Red Bull money, and Red Bull is not afraid to spend. And you talk about ski racing versus auto racing and the other sports that they're in, it's a drop in the bucket.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. It's a great point. And it's amazing how FIS continues to overreach and overstep, particularly when it comes to skis and the sort of controlling the logo. It just reminds me of that new Netflix show out there on FIFA and all the parallels I think we've someday may shake out of FIS, but I digress. Yeah. And I did want to touch on, of course, the snow report. What's up with Tahoe? We got snow coming in. What's going on out there?
Yeah.
So 11 o'clock tonight, it's supposed to start rolling in. And by tomorrow, we're supposed to be getting between 1 and 3 inches an hour, depending on where in the Tahoe Basin you are. Valley Florida, they're thinking more like 1 an hour and more like 3 inches an hour up at elevation. And over Donner Pass, they're actually talking about measuring it in yardsticks.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo, old school Tahoe storm.
Yeah.
Head your way. Well, we've got a great show as always for you tonight, and we're fired up. We've got some guests that will just go through anything to make the show. They'll climb mountain passes, sit out there in the cold, and make it happen. Our next guest, I think, should be voted comeback kid, comeback event of the decade. Jon Franklin with the World Pro Ski Tour joins us now on Ski Talk. And Jon, what you have done to bring back pro skiing, first of all, thank you. I'm a huge fan of pro skiing, and I know so many people are. But really, when you think about it, the void that was there without the World Pro Ski Tour is now being filled. And I just wanted to, before we really kick off and tell the world how you're sitting out there trying to get first tracks on top of Loveland Pass tonight, what's it like to bring the Pro Tour back, and what was the motivating factor to get you involved, the man who made it happen?
Well, like you, Dan, and thanks for having me on, of course, we love the Pro Tour. The head-to-head format is the best we feel in ski racing because you can see who actually wins the race. I defy anyone to watch a World Cup and give you the results of the top 10 guys. But in pro skiing, since it's dual format, it's single elimination, it's like a tennis tournament. You beat the guy next to you and you move on to the next round. It accomplishes a lot of really cool things. One, you get to see your heroes multiple times. If Ted Ligety is advancing each round, you get to see him again and again. Unlike a Super G on the FIS Tour, where the racer goes one time and he's done. It's one and done. So for us, if you keep winning, you keep advancing. And for the sponsors, for the fans, they get to see their racers multiple times throughout the day. We've tried to bring it back with a bit of a modern twist. You mentioned the Drive to Survive show on Formula One. We have our same show called Life in Between Gates, where we follow the racers around. We do more than just tell the results of the race. We like to tell the stories of the race. So it's our Drive to Survive type show. So we're trying to be stronger on social media. We're trying to bring back shows like Life in Between Gates. And then, of course, we're live on Flow Sports, which is a streaming service, again, modern streaming service. And then we followed up with the shows on the CBS Sports Network. So we've got 3 great TV properties, plus our social media, all driving the tour. So we're bringing back the old tour, but we're doing it with a modern twist.
I love it. You've launched us out of the 80s and into the new millennium with World Pro Ski Tour. And before we get into all that is World Pro Skiing, we need to introduce our guests that are in the car with you tonight, Jon. You're on the side of the road. You got your boys with you. Introduce us to who's with you.
Well, we've got Bram over here and Blake in the back seat. So we were actually driving to try and do this from a studio, or at least the office, and I had a flat tire. So a blown out tire on the side of the road.
It's like modern technology at its finest.
Yeah. So then, of course, the jack didn't actually get the car high enough to change the tire. So we had to call AAA, and they had to use a better jack than what Ford equipped us with. So they got the tire changed, and we're good to go, because we need this car to drive up to Beaver Creek this weekend to watch the World Cup up there. This is my dual role as CEO of Ski Racing Media as well. So on behalf of Ski Racing Media, we're going to be up in Beaver Creek this weekend, watching the men go at it on the downhill, which is always a super exciting downhill. So we're going to
dive into ski racing for sure. World Pro Ski Tour, a lot on the docket tonight. Plus, we've got your boys sitting in the back. They're going to give us the inside view and the insight to the man behind the tour, Jon Franklin. So they're promised they can say anything they want tonight with no backlash. Plus, they get free lift tickets and all the skiing they can handle when they come see me in Big Sky. So we're
100%. We'll definitely be coming to Big Sky. Yeah, we got the kids excited now for sure.
And we're going to bring on our other guest who is just flown in, landed, and tuned in. And the brand CB, I think Chris Neary should be voted the comeback brand, the comeback kid of the year, bringing CB back online. Classic brand. Chris, are you there?
Yeah, guys, I'm here. How we doing?
Hey, my goodness. What's going on,
Chris?
Hey guys, sorry for the tardiness. I just had to battle the traffic in New York City, and now I'm in a hotel here, and I'm pleased to be here. I greatly appreciate it.
Well, Chris, you didn't hear the story. We're on the side of the road, so
Oh no, I
replacement.
got that one. I was there. So yeah, John, good to see you. Trish,
Good to
Phil,
see you.
always a pleasure, and Dan, of course, thanks for hosting and getting us on.
You know, of course, Chris, CB is so iconic, and so many of us grew up with that brand, the big collar and the iconic look. There it is, you know, our newest model, showing it off right there. Phil's doing it right there. It's a great look. It's a great jacket. Of course, all around Boston during the ski show, everybody was asking about the brand and saying how cool it was to have it back. What motivated you to dust it off and bring it in?
Well, fortunately for us, you know, our business at Vertical Brands is a full-fledged platform of design and product development, and of course, global manufacturing. And about 12 years ago, actually, CB himself, CB Vaughn Jr., came to me and thought that, you know, we might be a good candidate to be a partner to bring the brand back. And unfortunately, through some dealings that CB and I did with the prior ownership, we weren't able to do it 12 years ago. And fortunately, just in 2021, we were offered a similar opportunity, and the price was right, and our platform had evolved to a point where we have, you know, not only this global supply chain to attach to it, we also had, you know, the resources to you know, keep up with the current markets. Had some great wholesale relationships. Had and you know, had the overall ability to get the product out into the market, and we're very grateful to do it. And yes, an iconic brand for sure. It's fun to watch people see the product and smile as they remember, you know, 30-year flashback of what they might have been, you know, doing or wearing or what color they had. And it's always a great opportunity to dig into those people's hearts from the 80s and 90s, and now turn it into a product that you know, we're trying to get on the backs of people in the ski business, you know, and evolve the brand into a trendy fashion product.
And of course, you're held up there on the penthouse, overlooking the skyline in New York, as you spend your marketing dollars sponsoring SkiTalk and the World Pro Ski Tour. Of course, we're very grateful for that. Phil, what's it been, the response on the site about the brand?
Oh, it's been really cool, Dan. On the site, it's been great. And also being out there on the hill. So people are coming up to us and say, I had that jacket, or I had the blue and the green one. And everybody's reminiscing of it. And they say, boy, you've had that jacket for 40 years. It looks brand new. I said, nope, CB is back. I mean, we got the new brands out, and it's really cool that I've got some original stuff, and I've posted stuff over the years in that. When I go to my rack to pull a jacket off, I have to double check which one it is, the old one, the new one. See, these guys have done a fantastic job staying true to the designs of it, which I think is really cool. And I think there's a tremendous amount of opportunity. And it's one of those things, classic style is just timeless. It doesn't go out of style, which I think is great. And they do a really good job staying with the traditional colors and seeing what they've got coming down the road. I know I'm really excited myself.
And, you know, and of course, John, the key to the World Pro Ski Tour is sponsors, the prize money. And there's a couple of things on this I want to touch on. But one, overall, how's it going with sponsors and who's on top? And then after that, I want to follow up with equal pay for the women and the men.
Well, to start, we've got sponsors and we've got partners, and we feel like CB is a partner because it's their clothing that are on our team, on our cameramen, on our start guys, on our all of our technical people that have to be up on the mountain in the worst conditions to the best conditions. So, you know, you've got a partner like CB, your staff, your team, your on the mountain crew, the course workers, the starters are all going to be warm and dry and comfortable, whether it's going to be on sunny days or in the midst of a huge blizzard. So, we've got partners like CB, and we're really excited about that. As far as sponsors go, yeah, we're not kicking it out of the park. We're always looking for more, but with who we have and what we're doing, we're able to come up with $500,000 prize money. And that's really what the tour is all about, providing an opportunity for ski racers to stay in the game and make money. An opportunity it is, because a journeyman ski racer like Jake Jacobs can find himself in the starting gate next to a guy like Ted Ligety, who's won 2 Olympic gold medals. And that's, another thing we're really proud of, is that we provide equal opportunity for racers who maybe didn't make it all the way through the U.S. ski team system. And as you said, for men and women, we provide equal prize money for men and women. And, everybody puts in the same effort, and everybody puts in the same amount of training, and everybody deserves to be paid the same way. So equal prize money for men and women, and equal opportunity for people like Ted Ligety and people who come right off the street or off Wall Street to try and qualify to live their dream of being a pro ski racer. So,
John, I want to dive in a little bit there too. Is like, to me, like I said, the World Pro Ski Tour has filled a void that was missing. One is opportunity for skiers not on the World Cup, and two, as you mentioned, ex-World Cuppers who still want to race. But more importantly, and maybe flipping on the hat of ski racing right now, when you look at the U.S. ski team across the board, with very few technical skiers outside of Michaela Schifrin doing really anything of note, is the World Pro Ski Tour really the answer if you're a young ski racer looking at the World Cup saying, hey, I don't have 15 years to put in to try and make the top 15, top 30 even on slalom or GS. I could go straight to the Pro Tour, put some ching in my pocket, and have a ball. What's your thought?
For us, there's no politics in how to qualify. If you're fast, you qualify. Ted Ligety has been beaten on the tour by NCAA racers like Max Burvey. So if you're fast, you qualify and you win money, and everybody has equal opportunity for start positions. And we get all kinds. So at our World Championships last year in Taos, we had 25 Olympians from 15 countries. And the men's event was won by Lena Strauser, who was right off of winning a silver medal in the Olympics in parallel. So he's a great parallel skier. He knows how to ski fast with somebody right next to them. He won our World Championships, and a month before, he was in Beijing winning an Olympic silver medal. Likewise, Paula Moltzen flew right down from Aspen, where she won U.S. Nationals by 3 seconds, and came and won our World Championships. So we have American women making over $50,000 in a weekend. We have German guys straight from the Olympics winning the Olympic silver medal who became our world champions. And they're competing against, workhorses like Nolan Kasper, who was in 3 Olympics, Miha Kerner, who was in the Olympics for Slovenia, Michael Ankeny, who was a perennial racer on the U.S. ski team, against Robert Cohn, who's won our tour 3 times, but also won the NCAAs. So we've got NCAA racers, we've got Europa Cup racers, we've got Olympic racers, and we've got guys right off the street trying to qualify against these guys that don't have to worry about the politics of trying to make the first or second seed of the World Cup. So it's equal opportunity all the way around. If you're fast, you can race against the best in the world.
Yeah, no, this is huge. And this is what it's like. This is why the Pro Tour is such a great opportunity, and it has been for so many over the years. And I think you touch on it, politics, and of course, money is what it takes to climb your way to the top of the U.S. ski team these days. And this is fastly becoming and filling the void that was there. So again, my hat's off to you, and I think it's a big one. Last year in ski racing, there was a good article on just how hard it is to crack the top 15 particularly on the men's side in slalom. It was a great article. It really went in depth. Do you remember that article?
Yeah, I mean, that came right out of ski racing, and why I think it's important to have the opportunity of the World Pro Ski Tour. If you look at last year, you had Alex Lever qualifying for year before for World Championships. You had Garrett Driller over there racing independently. Both Alex and Garrett were racing independently, and they came and raced on the World Pro Ski Tour. Then you had River Rodimus, who was, integrated into the system and came over again 2 seasons ago, raced 2 of our races and didn't qualify. So the pros at our format are, the best in the world. And if you listen to Bodie Miller talk, talk about the World Pro Ski Tour, he talks about that. He goes, at this format, these guys are the best in the world. So someone like River can come over and he has a hard time qualifying, even though he's, top seed World Cup guys. So for some it works, some it doesn't. Historically, the best racers in the world have accomplished, at both formats. Jean-Claude Keely won 3 Olympic gold medals in 1968, came out of retirement in 72-73 season, won the tour. Spider Savage had top races on the World Cup, came over, became World Pro Ski Tour champion. Billy Kidd, Olympic silver medalist, first guy to win a silver medal or any type of medal in skiing in the Olympics for the Americans, became the 1970 World Pro Ski Tour champion. So a lot of guys who cut their teeth on the World Cup can come over and, show that they're the best in all formats. Phil and Steve Mayer won their Olympic gold and silver medals in Sarajevo, and 4 years later they were racing on the Pro Tour, and Phil was the slalom champion of the Pro Tour. So it's another opportunity, and that's what we're trying to provide for ski racers to make money, continue their careers, or choose to have it as, the mainstay of their career. We're expecting Garrett Driller out. We're expecting Alex out. We're going to see River for sure at tour events. Ted Ligety is talking about coming out to some events. Bodie Miller comes to the events, but he doesn't race. I think, he's like, wow, this looks pretty tough, but we'd love to have him in the start gate as well.
Throwing it down right there, Bodie. I know Bodie's a listener. We know he's a fan of the show, and I'm sure he's watching. Before we jump back into CB, let's watch a little video on the World Pro Ski Tour.
Olympic gold medalist Ted Ligety, Olympic silver medalist and World Pro champion Linus Strasser, Olympian and World Pro champion Paula Moltzen, 3-time Olympian Nolan Casper, 3-time Tour champion Rob Cohn, Women's Tour champion Tuva Norby. All in all, over 25 Olympians, men and women, representing over a dozen countries, compete on the World Pro Ski Tour alongside NCAA All-Americans, national champions, and journeyman racers. It's the world's best, on course, head-to-head. Coming from the world's most iconic ski areas, including Aspen and Vail, Colorado, with the World Championships from Taos, New Mexico. The World Pro Ski Tour is the premier dual slalom ski racing tour on the planet. Head-to-head drag racing over jumps, thrills and spills, photo finishes, and may the fastest racer win. The World Pro Ski Tour has roots with Bob Biotti's World Pro Skiing that began in 1969. Champions included Olympic silver medalist Billy Kidd, American Rebel Spider Savage, and French triple Olympic gold medalist Jean-Claude Keely. Fast forward 50 years, and now the highest profile rivalries continue with the next generation of Top Gun winter superstars. The World Pro Ski Tour draws in legions of active, affluent social media influencers as fans and followers. Race action is live streamed with media partners on platforms such as Flow Sports, Ski Racing Media, US Ski and Snowboard, Facebook, and more. Followed by.
So it's amazing, and there it is. It's all right out in front of you. And Chris, when you see that, CB, your brand is a part of it. What's that mean to you?
No, it's awesome for us. It's a great stage for us to provide, as Jon said, his staff and exposure to the world-class racers, and we're just excited. It's going to accelerate the brand, into the ski business, and we're grateful to be a part of it.
When you think about the brand, what the brand represents, where are you going to bring the brand? What's new? What should we expect out of CB?
Sure. So we have our Heritage Collection, which you can find on cbsports.com. And that's a lot of the traditional key styles that CB ran in the 80s. As a matter of fact, the products that are on there now is a relaunch of the 85 line, which we picked up, and we're going to continue with those styles in some great fun colors. And next year we actually have a new line plan of over 40 styles that'll be coming out, new styles for CB. And I'm here in New York City meeting with several top retailers. I will mention one named J. Crew, who has put it into their top stores already. It's available. They're out socially promoting it, which we're grateful for. And it's just a start of what we believe we can do, taking a vintage, nostalgic ski brand and maybe even expand those items into some other markets that weren't popular in the 80s and 90s, like the boating markets and the racket sports markets. Of course, pickleball is a very fast growing sport, and we look to live into that space. And we're super excited where this brand can go with the core brand equity and heritage of the ski markets. We believe we can actually go after, a trendy fashion overall lifestyle brand.
Of course, just enter that code in and get 50% off. Thanks for that, Chris. People will be eating that up and getting involved with that. Of course, CB himself, the legendary CB, was quite a playboy. Any CB stories you want to share here on the show?
Well, I will tell you this here at First. We've officially signed a contract to have CB involved in our business. He's actually going to be the president of Vertical Brand Special Markets, and he's going to be handling all the on-mountain relationships for on-mountain uniforms, as well as on-mountain retailers, which we're very psyched about. He just called me just about an hour ago because we signed a deal on Monday, and he's off and running, picking up the phone and calling some of his old relationships. And, he hasn't skipped a beat as it relates to his energy and his excitement for the brand. And as the namesake, I'm excited for him as well, because it must be really fun to do something really well. And then, there was some issues in the early 90s that caused the brand some disruption. But he was excited 12 years ago to bring it back. And now we actually have the ability to do that with him on a platform that we have an unbelievable design staff, an unbelievable product development staff, logistics. We have 30,000 square feet of warehouse space that we're filling. So we're always have product in stock, and we're excited again to get that, to go after the ski market and provide them with, this nostalgic brand while providing some of the more current lifestyle pieces that we've all come to know and love.
Well, I'm sure we'll see CB hanging around the World Pro Ski Tour.
I was going to say, we're excited to have him come to races and hear some of the old stories. We'll bring him up on the mic and let him go live on Flow Sports and hear what he has to say about the tour in the 70s and 80s.
He's full of stories.
Let's get your young announcers in the car to do the interview. We'll get your boys there involved with doing the interview of the legendary CB. And of course, I think, do we have a video? We have a video on CB. Let's launch that.
Watch our light.
As featured at the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame, we appreciate the support as always. And Phil and Trish, I think we've got some contest winners. Should we move over to announce some winners?
Absolutely. We're giving away a bunch of great prizes again this week. We got winners of Tyrolia's all-new protective binding, the only bilateral release binding that is on the market. And David Baker from, I believe, from Michigan has won that. And then second place, or really second isn't really fair, but Toko's Liquid Paraffin. Gary Stolt, who lives, I believe, in Tennessee, but skis mostly out west, a tremendous road warrior. And Gary, you're going to get a lot out of this wax. So, and then the 30 Years of White Haze is Joan Blumenfeld. So she's really going to enjoy that book. And Dan will get you her address when she realizes that she won. And maybe you'll autograph that nice and personalize it for her.
I love that. We're always giving away the store here at SkiTalk, and that's the way it should be. We love our prizes. We love our winners, and we appreciate everybody who's tuning in. Maybe we should put together the big grand prize to Taos and get somebody a big prize for the World Tour Finals at the World Pro Ski Tour Finals in Taos. When are the finals, John?
March 31st and April 1st, and it will be a big party for sure. Last year we had everyone from Franz Klammer to Bodie Miller to Julia Mancuso. We had Olympic gold medalists not only on the slopes but in the bar and in the restaurants and at the parties. And Louis Bacon, who is the owner of Taos, last year was a little disappointed that he didn't have as many athletes as he had hoped at the big party. So now we've scheduled the racing for Friday and Saturday with the party Saturday night. So the racers don't have to go home and get ready to race the next day. So Saturday night will be a big blowout, and we look forward to having all you guys there for sure. And yeah, maybe we'll hit some credentials up for one of the viewers and, lucky winners to come and join us in Taos. That would be amazing.
I love that. It sounds good. Now we're every week here on Ski Talk, we enter into the roundtable discussion where all our guests and can ask anybody you want whatever questions you want, and we kind of open the topics up. And tonight, let's kick it off with Tricia. Tricia, I'm sure you have a question for somebody here today.
I want to ask John's kids.
Well,
how is it traveling around with a dad who roams from race to race?
it's amazing. It couldn't be better.
Who's the coolest person you ever met?
Dan Egan.
Yeah, besides
Probably Simone. Simone.
Simone Brightfist Calamander, the racer. Yeah, he's way cooler than me for sure.
He's
But of course,
really
most
nice,
people are.
really cool to hang out with. Teaches you a lot about skiing.
Very cool.
Are you guys ski racers? Are you guys ski racers?
Yeah. We're doing a program at Eldora.
Oh, nice. Are you going to make sure they do head-to-head there, man? Bring the pro format to the club.
Final
Blakey, how'd you do in the head-to-head format last year in your skiing racing?
I got 7th out of a bunch of trophy-yards.
12-year-olds, 7 out of 12-year-olds. He's only 8, so that's good.
I got 4th.
Well done, dude. Love that. That's good work. That's great. Moving over to you, Chris. You got any questions for anybody?
I mean, at this point, I spend time talking to John and planning for these events, and we spend a lot of time making sure that we've got the gear for his crew and sponsors and stuff. But and then of course I was fortunate to spend some time with you guys up in Boston, just last week, and we're rocking and rolling. I don't have any questions per se for the crew here, but I do owe you an apology, Dan, because I need to get some of your books. Like I purchased some Kim's books as some gifts, but we're pretty psyched to get some of those into my staff for a Christmas gift. So I wanted to apologize. I didn't catch up with you. Got a little crazy there in Boston.
Well,
I bought a couple in Boston, and we read them, at night to the kids to put them to sleep. They've taken over from the Warren Miller books, Wine, Women, and Warren. And now we read 30 Years in a White Haze.
You're saying Dan puts your kids to sleep.
After a long day. And I do have a question for Chris.
What's up?
Any clothing that will fit these guys and the rest of the guys on the junior teams?
Oh, no shortage of the small guys stuff coming. We actually
perfect.
We're working on a collaboration with a very large kids brand, and they're asking for an exclusive to launch a entire kids collection of over 20 styles, which would consist of the heritage products as well as some of the new stuff we're putting out. And that'll
Amazing.
be full-blown ski pants and, Apollo jackets, and as well as some of those heritage items that I spoke of, the 3-button jockey top, a couple full zip, the double stripe, that, again, you guys are quite familiar with.
Well, the pants that you showed me at the Boston Ski Show that are going to be for the staff, love the branding on them, love the styles. I know that some of our on-hill crew talked to you about some important features, and you were able to incorporate those. So these are going to be the real deal. We're super excited to see the CB pants come out.
Yeah, we're excited. Obviously, the history in CB was the super pant, and that's where CB started, by selling those items out of his out of the trunk of his car in southern Vermont, and that's how he ended up starting the brand. And he tells a story about it wasn't until the third year of him selling and giving stuff away out of the back of his the trunk of his car, when these retailers really started asking for CB. And I've met retailers in the Northeast that have said that these little ski shops made over $1 million in CB products alone, in the mid '80s, and felt very obligated to buy again, because some of the guys have paid their houses off with selling CB apparel. So it's
good. It's good to see people that want to give back. They remember where they came from.
World, yes.
I'll tell you could not go to southern Vermont without going through Bennington and going past the CB outlet. I mean, that was a stop on either on the way up or the way back, depending on how good your weekend was.
Well, in 1974, when I went out to Red Lodge summer ski camp, and I was reading, what you had to bring, and it said you had to wear ski pants. And growing up in Detroit, Michigan, and racing at Alpine Valley and Walloon and Boyne, I hadn't actually raced in ski pants yet. I'd only raced in jeans with knee pads. And then I went out. I had to borrow a pair of ski pants from a guy named Bobby Perlmutter, who later became the Mountain Cat director, still does this up in Aspen, runs powder tours there. So I had to borrow a pair of ski pants from him to go to ski racing camp. And, from our environment, kids weren't wearing ski pants yet, but I borrowed a pair of CB ski pants and made my first appearance at Red Lodge ski racing camp in 1974.
I love that. I must have been in Red Lodge in '79.
You're there in '79. I was there 74 and 75.
Nice.
Group 6 the first year and Group 1 the second year.
Yeah.
Because I had those pants. They make me faster.
I had a pair of CV pants, of course. Everybody did that time. Throwing it over to you, Phil.
My question's for Chris. When are you going to sign Dan as your ambassador? I mean, nobody speaks to CB like a New England skier like Dan Egan.
Yeah,
putting him right on the spot there, huh?
Consider it a verbal contract. You're signed on, Dan. We already shook hands in Boston, Phil, and we're figuring out the best way that we can support Dan in his efforts. While he's out there hustling, making it happen.
Yep,
it's one of my favorite quotes. If wishes were ponies, beggars would ride. It's so good. Of course, there's so much happening. Of course, early season, this is what it's all about, pre-Christmas. I do want to give a shout out to Rogers Ski and Sport up in Lincoln, New Hampshire, who brought on CB last year ahead of the curve. And of course, those guys, great ski shop off exit 32 on your way to Loon. Be great to see the Pro Tour return to Loon. You got any East Coast stops, John? What's going on?
Yeah, we're planning an East Coast stop. We start out in Steamboat this year, Howson Hill, which is a fantastic venue for us with a big dog leg. So guys like, Ted Ligety, who are used to those big turns on the World Cup, it's a cool venue. It's steep and it's fast. And then we're going to Bear Valley, California, which is a historical Pro Tour site. Jean-Claude Keely raced there. Spider Savage raced there. The tour used to go there back in the 70s and the Bob Bietti days and in the 80s with Ed Rogers. So, it's a great site, and we're super excited to go back there. We got retro brands like CB, nostalgic brands, and now we're going to some nostalgic areas. And then in March, the plan is to come to the East Coast, and we're just sorting out where and when, the exact dates. And then we finish up with the World Championships in Taos, New Mexico, March 31st and April 1st. And like I said, that's not only great racing, but it's a big party. And as I said last year, a lot of the Europeans showed up straight from the Olympics to try and get a piece of that $250,000 prize purse there. They're like, okay, our season, it's now time to make some money. Paula Molson made more money in one weekend at our race than she made all season long on the World Cup circuit. So now everybody saw that, and we'll have a big crowd of racers from all over the world at the World Championships in Taos.
I love that. And
super excited about the season.
Just speaking about that, Jon, tell us how people can watch the World Pro Ski Tour. What part is free? Where's the paywall? And how do people get involved?
Well, I'll say it again. We start out on our early rounds. We're on everything: ski racing media site, US Ski Team site, Facebook, and all that. As we get down to the round of 16, we go exclusively on Flow Sports, and you can buy a ticket or you can buy a subscription. But if you don't want to pay and you want to wait, you watch it then free on CBS Sports Network a week later, and that's a condensed show. So live is live, and it's hard to do ski racing live, with weather and all that. So the Flow Sports shows are, hour and a half, and then CBS edits them down to a half-hour show. So you get all the action, all the top action on the CBS Sports Network show. And then we have our, like I said, Drive to Survive style show. It's Life in Between Gates. And that goes into more the story of the racers and the story of the race more than just the results. So they talk to Ted Ligety, they talk to Jake Jacobs, they talk to Lena Strausser, to Miha Kerner, to Nolan Casper, to Rob Cohn, to Tuve Norway, our women's champion, to Paula Molson, and find out what got them there and how they're going to, before the race, what's going through their mind and how they're preparing for the race. And then after the race, what went right or what went wrong. So really follows the story of the racers and the story of the race, how a guy like Max Burvey ends up in the starting gate next to Ted Ligety. You're an NCAA racer like Max Burvey. You're standing next to your idol, Ted Ligety. What happens? How do you prepare for that? So that show is actually a show that people love, and it airs all the time. Like I said, it's on Amazon Prime, it's on AT&T Sports, it's on NBC Sports networks around the country, syndicated everywhere. So that's actually my favorite show of the three, because you really get to understand what goes on and dig deep and drill down into the lives of the racers, who they are and why they're racing.
Love that, Jon. Good job. And I know you're king of distribution and love to keep that up. Follow along. It's awesome. And of course, my go-to for information these days, anything skiing, really is skiracing.com. So make sure you get to skiracing.com. You can follow, of course, all the latest news in ski racing and so much more as we head off.
Can I throw in a plug for ski racing?
Please,
we are the only publication that covers the NORAMs, that covers the Europa Cup, that covers NCAA. So we cover ski racing in all its forms, not just the World Cup, not just the Pro Tour, but results from all over the world, like the NORAMs. So you can see the up-and-coming American slalom skiers and GS skiers that we were talking about nobody gets to see or hear about. So we try and cover everything from the top down and the bottom up. And that's why Sports Illustrated has called us the Bible of the sport. So ski racing is there for people to check into. Like most other publications, we've gone, totally digital. The good news about that is you don't have to wait for it to arrive in your mailbox, and the news is current and fresh. When I was a kid, I waited for ski racing with bated breath because it was the only time I could see my friend's name in print. And now it's, right after the race, the results are up and you can access it really quickly and easily on your phone, on your tablet, wherever you want.
It's
so
my go-to source. And as I told you in Boston, you're doing a great job with ski racing. And I love that I can go find my nephew's results in there and so much more. So love that. And of course, we're heading into the holidays. All of us are thinking and dreaming about powder skiing. There's snow out there. And I thought, no better tribute to skiing and ski movies than to leave finish the show off tonight with Matchstick Productions. It's their 30th anniversary film. Matchstick's been killing it for 30 years. And their newest film anywhere from here features New Hampshire's own Kate Zelliff. Check this segment out.
It's absolutely nuking. The girls are buzzing. The snow is raging.
If you want this, I got to come get this, I gotta be. Yeah, everything you want me to be, babe. You know I'm loyal, this hand is loyal. It don't get no better than this. If you need to be feeling believe it, I'm gonna be. Yeah, everything you want me to be, babe. You know I'm loyal, this hand is loyal. It don't get no better than this. When I come up to your doorstep, little knockety knock knock, what you got for your mama? You can't cut out the drama, leave it in the past, so you might as well keep your smile. But I know you're good for it. You never let me down. I know you're good for it. You always hold me down. Ooh, baby, been thinking about you lately.
Nice work, Kate.
Thanks so much. Smells good. Tell your friends.
If you want this, I got to come get this, I gotta be. Yeah, everything you want me to be, babe. You know I'm loyal, this hand is loyal. It don't get no better than this. If you need to be feeling believe it, I'm gonna be. Yeah, everything you want me to be, babe. You know I'm loyal, this hand is loyal. It don't get no better than this. I remember being tender to the touch. Back in the day when I cared too much. Before I knew the difference between love and lust. I remember calling men up just for fun. But crying every night because I felt so lonely. I was getting my hopes up over this one homie who, looking back, I only cared for cause he showed me this one cool singer in the Wolf Gang. I became obsessed and worshipped how he sang about his daddy leaving and the need for feeling like he could believe in God. That was me, I felt the same way. I wanted nothing more than to be able to pray without feeling like a fool by his own game. But I do, yeah I do. It's crazy what a few years can do to you. But now I'm grown and my perspective's really twisted. I'm in love with a man who I never knew existed. Speaking of him, hey baby, hey baby, hey baby. Ooh, baby.
Oh no. He's tumbling.
Been thinking about you lately.
Pretty bad too.
Big one, big tumble. She's getting her, yeah. It's a big one.
She stopped yet?
She's at the bottom. I see her. She's moving. She's crawling.
If you want this, I got to come get this, I gotta be. Yeah, everything you want me to be, babe. You know I'm loyal, this hand is loyal. It don't get no better than this. If you need to be feeling believe it, I'm gonna be. Yeah, everything you want me to be, babe. You know I'm loyal, this hand is loyal. It don't get no better, babe. If you want this, I got to come get this, I gotta be. Yeah, everything you want me to be, babe. You know I'm loyal, this hand is loyal. It don't get no better than this. If you need to be feeling believe it, I'm gonna be. Yeah, everything you want me to be, babe. You know I'm loyal, this hand is loyal. It don't get no better than this.
The second I started tomahawking, I was like, oh, I know how to land this cliff. Let me land this cliff. It just felt so good because it was like one of those things that you genuinely enjoyed it. Oh. See you later.
That's so good. I love it. It fires me up. And, Kate Zelliff busted on the scene just a few years ago, right out of New Hampshire, now living in Jackson and just slaying it in the 30th anniversary film from Matchstick Productions. And, of course, they are famous for their films every year. and 30 years is hard to do in anything, never mind ski movies. I know there's easier ways to make a living than that, and they've done it. Now, of course, over to you, Phil. We're not done yet here at Ski Talk tonight. We got plenty coming your way. I know the kids got to go to bed, John, but hang on. We're going to throw into a tech tip. What do you got there, Phil?
Well, first of all, no, I don't think any movie company matches movies to music as well as Matchstick. They do a phenomenal job. I mean, I hear these songs coming up on the radio. All I think is about the Matchstick segments. I mean, it's just so much fun, and the quality work that they've done over the course of the years. So again, we've got a lot of pro stuff going on, but we also on our site, we speak to Joe and Jane skier out there. Somebody that might be just coming into the sport, or again, we talked about the mom and pop areas, the feeder areas, which is just so important to the sport that as far as your original video here on the show. But we on our YouTube channel, we're also adding some basic tech tips that I think really reach out to a lot of different people. And this one here, actually, Trish did on how to use your pole straps.
Hi, I'm Phil, and this is Tricia from SkiTalk.com. We're here today with a tech tip on how to properly use your ski straps.
The ski straps are not just for carrying your skis, making them easy to carry across the parking lot, but more so to protect your bases. So if we take a look at the base from this ski here, we can see a lot of damage up front here, and that's from the skis sliding against each other. And we have similar damage on the tail.
Then we have this ski that has only one strap, and it was put on quite loosely, and it didn't really find the contact point.
Correct. So for this situation here, we want to just loosen this here, bring the strap up to the contact point where the bases touch, get this nice and snug on here. That's not going to move around. We'll take another strap, put it on the tail at the tail's contact points, right through here. These ski straps you can buy on SkiTalk.com. Snug this up here, and now we've got bases that are protected. Now, if you're a racer, you might also want to consider using a third strap here underneath the body for additional protection, specifically on a high-performance tune.
Absolutely.
Because a fast ski is a fun ski, and skiing is fun.
So you got to figure it out. Yeah, there it is. You know how to strap together your skis. If you buy my book, you know how to carry them and walk downstairs. Hey, every week you come here and you check it out. And like I say at the end of every show, you have wasted a perfectly good hour with us here at Ski Talk. We want to thank John and his whole family, their flat tire and everything that made it possible tonight. Chris, enjoy the penthouse there in New York. You're living it up, dude. We've shaken hands. I'll be back with the contract. Phil and Trish, keep rocking, and I'll see you from Switzerland on the next show.
Okay.
Dan, thanks
for
so
having
much, Phil. Chris, great to see you. All the
You
best.
too,
everyone.
guys.
Hey, guys.
Be safe. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Night.
That was a good show.
I'm coming to race you.
Oh,
Wax up the skis,
we'll
baby.
see.
We'll see
See
what
you
you
in
got.
Swiss.